Shalom, shalom. So today we're going to be sewing fringes on one of my King's just old muscle shirts, and really we're just going to hop right into it. First, I'm going to start by just cutting on the seam on each side of the shirt. I do this just so that it's not too tight at the bottom, and I just want to make sure that everything fits and that I get a clean, fringes and ribbon on there. So I just start by cutting the sides, and really I just cut like right up to that bottom seam of the shirt and just like maybe half of an inch over that. Then I just do the same thing to the other side. So next I'm about to just start cutting the fringes into the shirt. I try to straighten the shirt out and get everything as nice and even as I can. Just straighten it out, make sure I space everything even. Sometimes I'll use my measuring stick to just, make sure that each fringe is the same size. But, this is just, a house shirt, just one of his old shirts. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut. And y'all, I'm sorry that I was not getting like in the camera. My bad. But yeah, here we go. I'm just cutting the fringes. Yeah, so really once you start from one side, you just go to the other side, and I'm just going to finish up this side and then move on to the back side. All right, so here we are. We're on the back side now, finally. And the same thing that we did to the front, we're going to do to the back side. I'm going to have the back side hanging above the top. My bad, y'all. I'm going to have the back side hanging above the front so that I can use the front side as a guide to like size the back fringes so that, everything stays even and equal. So like I said before, we're just going to continue with what we did to the front. We're going to cut the fringes as equal as possible and then move on to the next step. Okay, you guys, so now that we got all of our fringes cut into the shirt, I'm just going to take my ribbon of blue and I place it all the way at the very end. Me personally, I like to line the ribbon up with the seam that's already on my shirt, so just so that I can make sure when I'm sewing straight. It's just I use it as a guide. But anyways, I'm just gonna place my shirt and ribbon together. You can use pins if you want to. I usually don't use pins because they're more trouble to me than it's worth, but you can use pins if you want to. But I'm just gonna place it under the presser foot. Make sure I grab both my bobbin thread and my other thread and hold them tight, and then I'm just making sure everything's lined up and in place before I begin sewing. Alright, so I just started sewing. I'm gonna make sure I hold my thread tight to make sure that it stays, in the fabric as I start sewing. And then I'm just gonna, sorry I had to move the camera, but I'm gonna back stitch to make sure it stays, and then I'll just front stitch and then keep going. And y'all, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I just started doing a back stitch at the beginning of sewing rather than just at the end, because I was watching some other sister sew. I don't remember what she was sewing, but she backstitched at the beginning, and I was like, bro, have I been doing this wrong the whole time? And everything that I've sewn, it's always stayed in place, for no doubt, but just some extra protection, just in case. Might as well. Alright, y'all, so right here I'm just sewing on the ribbon, and it just depends for me. Sometimes I'll sew, I can go pretty fast, but I feel like I start getting sloppy and the ribbon starts coming off track if I move too fast. So with this, I'm just going to take my time for the sake of the video, for the sake of neatness. Even though it's a homemade shirt and it's an old shirt, doesn't mean it has to be a raggedy shirt, okay? So I got my ribbon on, and I'm literally just going to do the same thing to the back side. So here we go. I'm doing everything the exact same, front stitch, back stitch at the beginning and the end. Just make sure everything's neat. I cut off all my excess strings. So here's the finished product, you guys. It's so neat and clean and easy to do. I had so much fun making this video. So that's it, you guys. Have a blessed day.